Author of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, Tim Stearns, CFP, joins us on Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement to talk about the 7 retirement roadblocks, those issues that get in the way of a confident quality of life into and throughout retirement on today's edition of Protect and Grow. We always appreciate the time with you, Tim, serving as Chicagoland's resource for proactive planning advice. He is your certified financial planning professional. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got questions at any point in time about your investments, your financial, your retirement planning, you are welcome to pick up the phone and be in touch with Tim Stearns, CFP, at 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And Tim, to connect the two topics, you wrote a lot about these 7 retirement roadblocks and how to address them in your book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle.
Right, Peter. And I think a lot of people focus on, will I run out of money? Our book kind of focuses on, how to avoid that and the perils that are there, the different risks that, everyone is cognizant of the fact that, market risk is out there. Although you wouldn't know it by the markets and the way some people are investing. When you look at the fact that 40% of the, S&P 500 companies are in the red, NVIDIA is pulling a lot of the weight there. So there's a lot of risk and market risk, but people don't realize there's other risks out there: longevity risk, interest rate risk, which we saw the last year and a half. All those things are broken down really easily to be digestible for the average layman to understand exactly what are the pitfalls that I could run into in retirement.
And Tim, if somebody would like a copy of your book, you generally make an offer during the program that they can get their hands on it.
Yeah, if they have over $500,000 worth of assets, and most importantly, are they serious about wanting to retire, or they're in retirement, give us a call. The first 10 people with over $500,000 worth of assets, we'll get them the book. The book is an easy read, and I think it's got a lot of good tidbits in there for anyone who's retired or who wants to retire.
Or you can get it on Kindle or physical copy on Amazon if you'd like to just purchase it. But Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle by Tim Stearns, CFP. First 10 callers to today's program can get your hands on a physical copy absolutely free, or you can get one emailed out to you if that's what you prefer, a digital version. Just give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So Tim, that fear of running out of money is exacerbated by the 7 retirement roadblocks that we will address on today's program: taxation, healthcare, Social Security, withdrawal rate, sequence of returns, inflation, and multiply all of those by longevity. We will tackle those and what you need to do to address them in your planning on today's program, ladies and gentlemen. But do want to remind you, as a listener to this program, you are probably taking your planning and your financial future seriously. And if you don't yet have a plan in writing that addresses those issues, or if you would like to review your current plan to make sure that you do have a sound way to address these 7 retirement roadblocks, pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns a call, because that's the true value of the program. He extends that offer and opportunity to you for a complimentary review where he will help you design your Protect and Grow written retirement income plan. Give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. So moving through these issues, Tim, taxation, something that's on all of our minds all of the time. The top marginal rate has fluctuated, but I think all of us, no matter kind of where we fall in the brackets, feel like maybe taxation is taking a big bite out of our paycheck and our income. And I know that continues into retirement.
Well, yeah, and I think it's going to, be even more so after the tax bill that passed many years ago. A lot of people call it the Trump tax plan. It expires at the end of 2025. So we're seeing some of the lowest income rates that we've seen since the 1980s, and before that, the 1920s. So, taxation is something that everyone agrees upon that they don't like it, right? And then more importantly, when I take a poll of our classes, people who call in from the radio, 100% of the people think taxes are going up. We have a huge deficit. So how does that affect your retirement? How do you, put that into your plan? we do all that when we come to our protect and grow plan.
All right. Well, it is one of the retirement roadblocks. The historical top marginal rate, Tim, has been as high as 90%. Now, it's hard to believe. It's hard to imagine and fathom that there was a 90% tax rate. But I actually have heard stories that that is why the actor Ronald Reagan got into politics in the first place, because he was one of those that was hit by that 90% tax rate. If he made a certain number of movies in a year, he basically only took home, including state income tax rates, less than 5% of what he should
Yeah.
have made off of the next movie. And therefore he was kind of motivated. But I guess for today's retirees, the way that we have saved over our career, those 401ks, those IRAs, those 403bs, they have actually deferred and delayed the paying of the taxes that are owed on our retirement nest egg until we need the money the most, actually in retirement. Are people kind of coming to the realization that managing that tax bill is not as easy as maybe they thought, and that it's more expensive than they could have imagined?
Oh, yes. And I think that goes hand in hand with us offering out the website, www.mvpcfp.com to anyone who wants to do it. It's free. Because again, I harp on this that no one seems to know what their tax bill will be in retirement. So why not go on an easy website to get a report that's manageable, that you can understand and breaks down exactly what you're going to owe over retirement. Is it to the penny? Of course not, but it's going to be a lot better than what I've seen with people being able to tell just off the cuff, if you will. And that's why we want to offer that website to people, www.mvpcfp.com. That's in most valuable player, certified financial planner.com. And what that does is, it'll give you at least a ballpark within, with a good range of what it is. I don't think a lot of people realize what that's going to entail in retirement. And it's your largest tax bill it's your largest bill that you'll have in retirement.
Yeah, we've talked about your report, Tim. The three biggest expenses in
Right.
retirement. Taxation, probably your largest known expense. And it's not like it hits you all at once. This is a slow creep. This is something that each year you're going to owe. And over the course of 20, 25, 30 years of retirement, that total tax bill is going to amount to be a rather large number. And in many cases, taking a look at that calculator, mvpcfp.com puts a price tag on that most people aren't aware of. Tim, you've said it. If you ask anybody, what's your retirement account balance? Most everybody could probably give you a number that is at least within $50,000 of today's right now current account balance. But I don't think many people could give you a number for, well, how much are you going to pay in taxes on that account over the course of retirement or over the course of your lifetime? This calculator, mvpcfp.com, breaks that down. That's where they can go and they look and they can see with their own numbers what that bill is likely to be, as well as what we could potentially proactively control and bring that bill down to be. And then you talk about the strategies about how to make that happen there in the office, with the help and coordination of your team.
Yeah, and our team includes a CPA and an estate attorney, and then also we're well aware of what Medicare can charge you through the IRMA. We call it Hurricane Irma, just tongue in cheek, saying that it can wreck a retirement because your bill for Medicare can go up substantially if you're not careful. So these are the things that we take into play when people are getting ready for retirement. You need to make sure you understand exactly where your money's going and how to effectively use it.
Well, you've got three different types of accounts, ladies and gentlemen. Taxable, your stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, bank account. Your tax-free assets, Roth IRAs, cash value, and life insurance does fall into this category. Municipal bonds can also be federally tax-free or state tax-free. And then tax-deferred accounts, IRAs, 401ks, that is really where your largest tax bill probably lies. And it's where generally speaking, the largest account balances lie. And so we want to show you how to be proactive in managing that. You probably want to be proactive and efficient in managing that tax bill over the course of your retirement. The name of the game is not to wait until the IRS's plan kicks in. You got to be proactive on this to bring that bill down and control it. So wherever you're at in your financial progress, go ahead and take a look at that mvpcfp.com calculator, your retirement tax bill calculator, mvpcfp.com. And especially if you do have that larger balance there in those tax deferred accounts, take a look side by side at what that bill is likely to be if the IRS has its say so and its way versus if you are proactive, and then talk to an experienced, qualified professional about how to plan strategically, efficiently, effectively, and proactively on how to execute on those strategies to bring that tax bill down. That's more of your money that you get to keep. Again, mvpcfp.com, or give Tim Stearns a call. He can run through the strategies with you, show you how to execute on them so you pay no more than your absolute legal responsibility in taxes on your retirement accounts. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256, or online at another website, the home-based website for TJ Stearns Inc. It is tjstearns.com, tjstearns.com. Tim, retirement roadblock number 2, healthcare and healthcare expenses. Basically, the bottom line here is expect the unexpected, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, that, one thing everyone agrees upon is that taxation is going up, and then next one, it would be medical care. Everyone says, it's funny when I ask, what is your number one bill going to be in retirement? Everyone says medical care. It's actually your taxes, right? Because most of us have 401ks. But back to what we're talking about here is it's medical expenses are going to go up. And, if you take a look around when you go there, there's not a quick fix out there. So that's something to be concerned about. And then the next thing that goes in line with that is the lack of long-term care that I'm seeing. 7 out of 10 Americans over the age of 60 will need some long-term care in their lifetime, and 9 out of 10 of them have not even addressed that. And I'm all for self-insuring. If you're a multi-millionaire, and you're going to need long-term care, the average male needs about 2.5 years. The female is up almost to 4 years. If you can self-insure the $90,000 a year minimally that we're seeing in Chicagoland, then go for it. But I know that for my wife and I didn't want to take on that, and I don't want my kids to be burdened with me. So we did a hybrid life insurance with long-term care component to it. It's called Living Benefits, and that really saved the day for me. It gives me peace of mind knowing that. And if I never use it, if I pass away, my kids get a tax-free death benefit, or my wife does. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
So important, Tim, because Genworth actually has this online calculator. Average cost of care in the Chicagoland area, depending on the level of care, anything from in-home care to skilled care or nursing care, anywhere from $9,000 to $16,000 a month, and that is inflating faster than almost any other expense category has been for decades. These expenses are real, ladies and gentlemen. Just one of a member in a family or a married couple experiencing this for any kind of prolonged amount of time, Tim, can wipe out the finances for the other spouse or the family, or certainly become a burden upon them. And so we really do need to plan carefully. And that idea of having something that is not use it or lose it, or could refill the savings and the financial wherewithal and well-being for a caretaker spouse, somebody who is, here and healthy, but taking care of ourselves if we are unlucky enough to be the ones that encounter this need for care. Tim, I think that's just a gift to the family that deserves some consideration, and in fact, probably absolutely necessary if you are taking the steps to be financially responsible and provide that care for your loved ones, your spouse, your family.
Well, yeah, and I also look at the fact that I have a 3 in 1,000th chance that I'm going to burn my house down in my lifetime, right? And I mean, name a person out there who doesn't have home insurance, correct?
Right.
3 out of 1,000. And then you look at 7 out of 10 are going to need long-term care. I don't like my chances. I'm going to make sure that I, push that risk off to an insurance company and I'm not taking it on. So, that's to my better good for my family as well.
Tim, next on the list here of your retirement roadblocks. And by the way, if you would like to look at the ways to address the potential cost of healthcare and long-term care to plan strategically for that into and throughout your retirement years, certainly talk to an experienced qualified professional. Tim Stearns, CFP, available to have that conversation. In fact, it's part of every Protect and Grow written retirement income plan that he puts together. All you need to do to get the conversation started is give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Next on the list, though, Tim, Social Security risk. Choose wisely, understand the different options, the timing, and the optimization of your benefits.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to claim your Social Security benefits. You can go early at age 62 or wait all the way to 70. And everyone, there's no cookie cutter answer for this. Everyone is different. And so what we do is we we have yet another software that we can tell people when the optimal time is to do that. We have many different people from this radio show, our classes, and our referrals that come in and have an idea. And so what we'll say to them is, okay, let's run with your idea and see what that looks like versus what the software comes back with the multiple, type of strategies to show people, because you could be leaving a ton of money on the shelf there, and you don't want to do that. Leaving money on the table, if you will. You don't want to do that, and what you do will affect your spouse. That is a promise. So you need to make sure, like you said, choose wisely.
And Tim, it can be several hundreds of thousands of dollars of
Yes.
a difference over the average married couple's lifetimes. That's money that either comes from Social Security, comes from your personal assets, which means you spend them down, or just isn't there at all. Of the three different options, I'm certain I know which one I would prefer: it to come from Social Security, and we want to use Social Security to protect our personal assets because those are what are going to allow us to address all of these 6 other retirement roadblocks. But taking the time, 30 minutes, an hour of education
Yep.
on Social Security can make for a difference in several hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think that's time well spent, a good investment.
I think it's absolutely pertinent that you do that before you pull the trigger. Once you do it, you're kind of down the path. Reversing that's kind of tough. But to know what the plan is going into it, so you don't leave money on the table, is absolutely huge.
Well, again, we are talking with Tim Stearns, CFP. If you would like your Protect and Grow plan, one that is going to address all 7 of these critical retirement roadblocks, or if you would like a copy of his book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256. Okay, Tim, I've got this retirement nest egg. I've got my savings. I've got my accounts. I've got my lump sum. Now, the $1,000,000 question, I guess pun loosely intended, but the real question is, how much income can I actually generate from my savings, right? Withdrawal rate risk, making money last. You sort of started with this question. How can we make sure we're not going to run out?
Well, by having a plan is the quick answer. A lot of people think, oh, if I only take out X or Y amount, it'll be fine. There's been studies that are all over the place. 4% has been shown to fail 66% of the time. So that's something to give you a pause. But I mean, what is your right rate to do that with? And that's why you should have a Protect and Grow income plan. Our income allocation plans, answer that question so that you don't run out of money. It even can price into there if you want to leave a legacy to your family. It goes on and on. But at the end of the day, you need to do a plan to know exactly what the amount is that's right. I don't want to see people not living their retirement. I also don't want to see people out working their money by going on different trips and stuff. And, the future be darned, who cares? The last thing you want to do is say to your wife or spouse, hey, I got it wrong. We're out of money.
Yeah.
We got to go live with whoever. So this is where withdrawal risk comes into play. By having a plan, you can get around that.
Yeah, you've got to have some guidelines, right? I mean, we could spend 20, 30, 40% of our nest egg just in the very first year of
Right.
retirement without that plan in place, without knowing what those guidelines are. But what are we going to live off of in, future years? There's nothing that's going to limit you from overspending except yourself, your discipline, and your plan, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what the guidelines of the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan are going to help you to understand and determine and set for you. It's not about not living and not doing and not spending. It's about the freedom to spend within those guidelines, the confidence to be able to spend, knowing that you are not overspending your assets and withdrawing too much. That's what the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan is for, and will help you accomplish. And if you'd like to get that put together, again, the order of operations, bringing all of these pieces together. If these are conversations that you have not had in your financial discussions thus far, then that probably is an indication of just the tip of the iceberg of the conversations that you need to have, but have not had. But this is an absolutely essential one. And the basis of why you need a plan is to understand how not to run out of money and make your money last. Pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns CFP a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And not to skip ahead or around, Tim, I know you've got these in order, but that really does play into longevity risk, right? Longevity multiplies the risk of maybe outliving our money or spending too much or running out during our lifetime.
Well, when you look at the fact that Social Security Administration says the average male lived to be 85 and the average female 88, you need to be wise with your money, because longevity risk, as the great Tom Hegna says on our show, published author of about retirement books, he said, that's longevity risk, extrapolates risk throughout your whole retirement. And it spirals if you're not careful. So that's, again, another place where having a plan, knowing that you're going to have money that, goes out to age X, Y, or Z, just depending on what your longevity risk is, then that's the way to solve that.
And that's average,
Yeah.
according to the um, Department of Health and Human Services, Tim. 25% of men now living to age 94, 25% of women living to 96, and about those centurions, those reaching the milestone age 100, 5% of men living to age 100. And 5% of women living to age 102. So we've got a plan for longevity. That is part of the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Planning process, ladies and gentlemen, is projecting out that you continue to be able to spend money. That's what Protect and Grow is all about. If you'd like to get that put together, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. I can hear the little voices in my head, though, Tim, saying, well, if I reach 95, I'm not going to need to spend money. Yes, but expenses are still going to happen, and they're going to be that much more expensive if you make it that far, right, Tim?
Well, yeah, and not to mention, what if long-term care kicks in at that point where you need that? As you just said, it could be over $90,000 a year. So, you're holding your breath your whole retirement to make sure of that. So that's another reason that I would look into these hybrid life insurance policies to solve that mess,
Yeah,
before it happens.
that 90,000 a year was on the low side of the
Right?
the care
Yep.
need also. All right, Tim, we've seen it a whole lot. It's retirement roadblock 6 of 7 here. Inflation, same money, less power.
Right. How sick of that word are we hearing it for the last year
So
and a
sick of
half?
it. So sick
Right.
of it. Yeah.
And as we know, the Fed wants to get it down around 2%. They've done a terrible job, in my opinion. They lag at 18 months at a time with this stuff. So that being said, you need to put that into your plan. We always at least build in 3%. We have a lot of clients who are worried and they put in 4%. But at the end of the day, your dollar, even in retirement, needs to grow to keep up with that. How do you do that? How do you do that safely? There are great annuities out there right now with these interest rates being so high that'll help you do that.
It's time to take a look at interest rates and payout
Absolutely.
rates and cash flow rates, right, Tim?
Yes, sir. If you have an annuity that's over 5 years old, we are looking at every single annuity that people have and just kind of giving them an X-ray, an MRI, if you will, to make sure that there could be it's all about income in retirement. And right now with those interest rates being so high, that's the only way to do it.
Finally, Tim, in the 7 retirement roadblocks sequence of returns risk. I guess we did these kind of in a different sequence than you had outlined, but you never can predict the sequence of returns in the market, and that is the inherent risk. You don't need a downturn. In fact, you may not be able to withstand a downturn in the several years leading directly up to retirement and then the first several years of retirement. We just don't know when those downturns are going to happen. That's what makes it sequence risk and sort of luck of the draw.
Sequence risk is really scary to me of the 7 things that we're talking about, because I'd say 99% of society doesn't know what that means. And I'll break it down really easily. If you retire into a bull market, chances are you'll have a great retirement. If you retire into a bear market, chances are you could have a difficult time. How do you know that? Do you have a crystal ball? I do not. So how do we get around that one? Once again, having a protect and grow income plan that tells you how you're going to pay your bills so you're not pulling for money when it's been hit by the stock market. The other thing I will put into there was the sequence of returns risk is so many people are playing these quote unquote hot stocks, Nvidia, Meta, Tesla's starting to come back finally. We're not playing hot hands in retirement, guys, right? This isn't a blackjack table. So you need to be smarter in retirement and make sure that you have a plan, and it might be milquetoast, but who wants a volatile income allocation plan, right? You want to know that you're going to make it through 30 plus years in retirement.
Again, we've been talking with Tim Stearns. He is author of the book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. It is available on Amazon, on Kindle. If you would like a copy, be one of the first 10 callers to today's program. If you've got at least $500,000 saved for retirement, this book is specifically addressed and designed for you to have a more stable, secure, and confident retirement. You can be one of the first 10 callers and receive a copy, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And you deserve to have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. The plan is what is going to give you lasting financial confidence despite these 7 retirement roadblocks we've discussed on today's program. To get your protect and grow plan specifically, individually crafted and customized for you, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns Inc., Tim Stearns CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, it is always a pleasure having you on the program. It moves by very quickly, as our time does it in life as well. That's why now is the time to place that call, but we always appreciate your time and insight here on the program.
My pleasure, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals or growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.